आनन्दलीलामय विग्रहाय हेमावदिव्यछविसुन्दराय तस्मै महाप्रेमरसप्रदाय श्रीचैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते। नित्यानन्दमहं नौमि सर्वानन्दकरं परं हरिनामप्रदं देवम् अवधूतशिरोमणिम्। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, welcome to this class on the glories of Sri Krishna. Krishna's names, forms, qualities and pastimes are all nectarian, and oftentimes we hear how Krishna is non-different to his name, Nama, and then non-different to his form, Rupa, non-different to his qualities, Guna, non-different to his pastimes, Leela, non-different to his abode, Dham, and non-different to his paraphernalia, Tadiya. And it's very important to hear about Krishna's qualities. In Nectar of Devotion, Srila Prabhupada translates Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, where 64 qualities of Krishna, transcendental qualities, are described. It's described that if Krishna is an ocean, then Krishna's qualities are like unending waves which keep hitting the shore forever. So it's like counting the number of $1 bills that Bill Gates may have. You can never reach the end, because by the time you think you're going to reach, another $1 billion have been deposited. So you continue counting, and another billion has been deposited. So Krishna is ever fresh. His qualities are unbelievable, unlimited. His forms are unlimited. His names are unlimited. His pastimes are unlimited. But just so that we get a hint of how beautiful Krishna is and how all attractive Krishna is, Srila Rupa Goswami talks about 64 transcendental qualities. Now, in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, between chapter 50 and 52, we find the story of Rukmini and Sri Krishna, where Rukmini talks about her attachment to Krishna, her attraction to Krishna just by hearing his qualities. Point to be noted is she gets attracted to Krishna even before she sees him. It's not the age of WhatsApp where you can just send a profile pic over. She hasn't seen Krishna. Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shrunvatam ye nirvishya karana vivarai haratonga tapa. She says Shrutva gunan. Guna means qualities and Shrutva means to hear. Having heard about your qualities, Bhuvana Sundara, about you who's supremely beautiful to the whole universe, how have I heard? Nirvishya Karana Vivarai, through the holes of my ear. And as a result of that, Haratonga Tapa, Tapa means heat. The heat of distress, lamentation, hankering fear in my heart, Haratonga, have all been destroyed. So this is a very practical, positive point for all of us. Because oftentimes we come across this point where we say, how can you love Krishna? How can you serve Krishna, someone whom you've never seen? Yeah? Classic example is Rukmini. It's by hearing about his qualities. You got to hear about a person so that you can get attracted to him or develop a desire to see him. How beautiful is this person? Yeah? So out of his 64 qualities, there are 4 primary qualities which Krishna holds, which even Lord Vishnu doesn't possess in his personality. We find Krishna and Vishnu are the same personality as far as tattva or philosophical conclusion is concerned. But as far as rasa or mellows are concerned, you never find Vishnu breaking a butter pot, for example. You never find Vishnu playing on the flute and having Yamuna flow backward, for example, which really attracts. You never find Vishnu having a threefold bending form on a full moon night on the banks of the Yamuna under a Kadamba tree, which naturally brings satisfaction smile in the listener. So much so that there are stories about how Vishnu himself kidnaps children of a person who every time gives birth to a child and the child dies. And ultimately you get to know that it was Vishnu who was kidnapping all of them only so that Krishna would come to reclaim all those children, and in this way Vishnu can see Krishna's form. There have been stories where where Krishna has seen his own reflection in a pillar and got amazed sincerely. Who is that beautiful, handsome person? It's not a pompous statement, it's a reality. There have been times when baby Krishna has seen his own reflection while stealing butter in a beautiful, sparkling, shiny pillar and thought there's another boy who looks like him who's also come to steal butter. And he looks to the pillar and he says, "Oh, I thought there was only one thief. Seems like two thieves have tried to look to plunder the same jewel. Let's do it together. You keep your mouth shut about me and I'll keep my mouth shut about you." Like that. So Krishna has these extra qualities which Vishnu doesn't possess or doesn't display in his personality. And out of those four, one of them is Krishna's form. It's called as Rupa Madhuri. Madhuri means sweetness and Rupa means form. The second is called Leela Madhuri. Leela means pastimes, and again Madhuri means sweetness. So the sweetness of his pastimes, like eating dirt, for example. Krishna goes on to eat dirt. Like the Supreme Lord, who as Vishnu is invited to have his asan and prasad after Achaman. And that Supreme Lord as Krishna eats dirt all over his face. And then when Mother Yashoda asks him, "Why did you eat dirt? I can see dirt." He says, "Oh mother, you taught me there are 7 mothers that I have. Mother Cow is one of them, you are one of them, Mother Earth is one of them. The 7 mothers each one of us have. And when I get tired, I can't go to the cow and drink her milk. When I get tired, I can't run home and come and drink your milk. The closest mother I saw was Mother Earth. And the milk of Mother Earth is the mud. So I was feeling so tired while playing. I desperately wanted some energizer. So I thought, here's my mother. You taught me, she's my mother. And this is her milk. Why not take that milk, the mud, and feel satisfied?" Another Acharya comments, Krishna was telling Mother Yashoda that if one speaks a lie, one must try to rinse one's mouth because the mouth has become contaminated because of the lie. And Krishna is telling Mother Yashoda, I have lied so many times. Every time I steal, I lie. So even water cannot purify me. And therefore, I needed something which is a good cleansing agent, and that's mud. So this is Leela Madhuri. Even Vishnu cannot perform. With 4 hands, he can eat mud. That baby Krishna does with 2 hands. The third aspect, after Rupa Madhuri, Leela Madhuri, is Prema Madhuri. Prema Madhuri means the sweetness of spontaneous, love-filled associates, where Vishnu doesn't find that. Krishna's friends argue with Krishna that, well, we are better than you. What is so special about you? Krishna says, well, didn't you see I killed Shakatasur? I killed Trinavarta. And the friends say, you killed Trinavarta? Trinavarta just was flying in the air and he felt dizzy. He fell to the ground and died. What did you do? And Krishna would say, well, I defeated so many demons. The friends say, yes, we agree. You defeat so many demons, but it's not your credit. Your father worships a Shaligram Shila. Your father worships a Narayan Shila. And therefore, because your father is a virtuous man, Shaligram Shila, Narayan, enters you when you are in difficulty. Oh Krishna, you're just like me. In fact, I am better than you because you have 900,000 cows and I have 1100,000 cows. So I'm actually better. And when you need help, Narayan, who's happy because of your father's worship of Shaligram Shila, he readily descends in your form, in your personality, kills the demon and leaves. So you're blessed because of your father. But apart from that, we are just equals. In fact, we are better than you. Because last time, you remember, we wrestled, you were on the bottom and we were above you. We were on your chest punching you. Krishna said, okay, all right. I can win against you. But in Vaikuntha, it is not like that. Aham dasosmi. There's no cutting jokes with one's superior. One should never cut jokes with one's superior. Because cutting jokes is not the sign of dasya bhav. If one tries to cut jokes with one's superior, one will make mistakes. Aparad. So in Vaikuntha, there's no cutting jokes because Vishnu is superior. But in Vrindavan, there must be cutting jokes. The Pandavas, like Bhima, Arjuna, etc. What is their relationship with Krishna? They are sakhas, they are friends because they cut jokes. But Draupadi, she also cut jokes, therefore she's Sakhi. Friend, because she cuts jokes. So in Vrindavan, there's cutting jokes that's going on. So this is Prema Madhuri, sweetness. There's no consideration of whether or not Krishna is God. It's not that they don't know Krishna is God. Even if they know Krishna is God, their love for Krishna is so deep that it eclipses their knowledge. It's like playing a piano. When you start playing the piano or the harmonium, for example, you got to know the keys. You got to know the chords. You practice the keys, you practice the chords. But is practicing the keys and practicing the chords the aim of the instrument? No. The aim of the instrument is relishment. If there's someone who's practiced it really well, they do know the chords, but they know it so well that they're not even aware of their playing of the chords. They're just relishing the piece. But someone who's starting, he really got to know. So the first person who's starting off is aware, Gyan, is aware of the chords and the keys, and his focus is only that. But someone who's an expert is also aware of the chords, but he's so aware of the chords that it goes in the background. And the main principle is relishment. So that is the difference between Vrindavan and Vaikuntha. They are aware of the chords. Yes, I am playing this chord, I am playing that chord. They're aware of the fact that Vishnu is God. But in Vrindavan, it's not that they don't know to play the chords, but they play the chords so expertly that the aim is relishment, while the knowledge of which chord is being played is just spontaneous and it's perfect. That's Vrindavan. And the fourth, after Rupa, Leela, Prema, is Venu, the flute. Chaitanya Charitamrita describes the flute as Tri Jagan Manasakarshi. Jagan or Jagat means the universe. Tri means three. So Tri Jagan means the upper planetary systems, the middle planetary systems, the lower planetary systems. So Tri Jagat Manas means mind, Akarshi, attraction. Krishna's flute is one of the main attractions which can attract the mind of anyone in the three universes. Even in an abstract painting, for example, you see just a throw of colors, you see a peacock feather and you see a flute, you know that's Krishna. Even if they don't make a form, if you just see a peacock feather and a flute, anybody can guess that's Krishna. So flute is such an integral part of Krishna's personality. You always find Krishna with the flute and the peacock feather. So in this discussion, we'll talk about different reasons why Krishna plays the flute. Yeah? The first reason why Krishna plays the flute, it's described that, well, Krishna loves to play it. Krishna is a personality, is a person who's filled with rasa, filled with mellows. He's a juicy person. Krishna is not a person who's formless or, just like as much as we think, I have free will and I want to do this, I love to do this, I would want to do this, right, as a hobby, it originates from Krishna. So Krishna is completely independent. He's a relisher. He's Vilasi. He loves to play the flute. He uses the flute to dance with the gopis and invite the gopis. He plays the flute to give pleasure to his cows. Krishna calls the cows by his flute. As the cows have all dispersed and they are all grazing, Krishna would call by the flute. It's very fascinating. With our flute, we can probably make some sound. But Krishna can call the cow by their groups. 108 cows. This was group A, then group B, and then group C. He would call the group number, the group name, the group identification through his flute. But there are some naughty cows and naughty calves who would not go. Why? Because they know when they're called by the group, it's one among many. But if they don't come, Krishna has just like we have counter beads, Krishna has counter beads made out of gold. And he has group beads, which means group A, group B, group C. But at the same time, in group A, he has cow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's group A. And then group B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, there's one cow missing in group B. So Krishna exactly calls that cow by name. And every cow wants, the naughty cows and the naughty calves want Krishna to call them by their name. So when they don't come by the group, Krishna would call them Surabhi.
On the flute.
Yes, with the name. Sometimes Krishna would say, this group is called Kumkumi because they're all reddish, like kumkum. And this group is Dhavali, which means they're all white, or Saraswati. And there's another group, they're all dark complexion. So you would say Krishna or Shyama, like that. So different cow groups by their names, individual cows by their names, all by the flute. And sometimes he would call them as Mridanga Mukhi. Mukha means face and Mridanga is the instrument. He would say, your face is so sweet and chubby that I feel like playing Mridanga on both your cheeks. It's called Mridanga Mukhi. So he would collect all the Mridanga Mukhis together and say, your group is Mridanga Mukhi. And then he would have another group called a Simha Mukhi. He would say, how did you become a cow? Your face is almost like a lion. You should have been born as a lion, but by mistake you've been switched over by Brahma last minute in being a cow. Okay, anyway, I'll call you a lion cow, Simhamukhi. Come on. Those cows which have their face like lion. So Krishna has these different categorizations, yet inside he knows this is Kamadhenu, and this is Surabhi, and this is, Hamsadhwani, like that. Different cows have different names. So you would call all of them by that. Krishna uses his flute also to smack his gopas sometimes, just as pranks. He would take his flute and then, like sometimes kids would do, they would tap on this side and you look and they're here. Yeah? All of this originates from Krishna. He would take his flute and smack someone here and they would look here and he's actually here. So the first reason why Krishna plays the flute is because he just loves to do it. He loves to play it. He even kills demons with it. He plays ragas which make them go dizzy. Sometimes you have these heavy music, just like you have relaxing music, healing music, and you have heavy music. Music has this effect in the consciousness. Krishna would play all those heavy notes to make the demons go dizzy. He even kills demons through his flute. Yeah? So this is the first reason given by Rupa Goswami. And he says Krishna has different kinds of flute. And some are made out of jewels, some are made out of pure gold, some are hollow bamboo, some are made out of marble. While Krishna was 5 years old, he had a flute made out of leaves. So he would wrap leaves over and he would blow in such a way that the sound which travels through the end part of the leaves, he exactly could control what sound to have and what type of leaves to have to get that specific sound at 5. So you can imagine what kind of a flute player he would grow up to be. And different types like 6 inches, 9 inches, 6 holes, 18 inches, 15 inches. All the technical details are given. So it's not just like one flute. Primarily he has Venu, because of which he is called as Venu Krishna, Venu Madhava, and Venu Gopal, Venu Govind, etc. Then he has Murli, because of which he's called Murlidhar. He's called Murli Manohar, Murli Krishna, and Murli Madhav, Murli Gopal, Murli Govind. And then the third one is called Vamsi. So Venu, Murli, and Vamsi are the three primary prominent ones. So this is the first reason.
There are three different kinds of flutes.
Yes. Venu is the first one. The second one is Murli. The third is Vamsi. And they're all different on the basis of their size. Venu is a small one. Murli is described to be a long one. And then Vamsi is the longest. And then they have other types as well, subtypes. So Krishna uses, he has mix and match. It's not just a stereotype one flute, that's it. Like that. The second reason why Krishna plays the flute, according to Kavi Karanapur in Anand Vrindavan Champu, is that the flute is actually a bundle of contradictions. And Krishna loves contradictions. It's like Krishna is bent, but he wants us to be straightforward, like that. So Krishna loves bundle of contradictions. So this is the second reason why Krishna plays the flute. And in the bundle of contradictions, there are 5 examples how the flute is a bundle of contradiction. The first example, anything in this world which has holes, you would say it's defective. Right? Of course, not for jeans these days. The more holes the jeans have, the more fashionable it is. But generally, something has holes, you would say, oh, well, it has a hole, why don't you change it? Okay, classic example, if you have a hole in your socks, you don't want to be in public with that, yeah? What if you, imagine if you have 6 holes in your socks? It's really embarrassing. So having holes is a defective quality. But Krishna's flute has 6 holes, but is more complete than anything else. So that's the first example of contradiction. Second example of contradiction, it's hollow, but holds the origin and the source of all music. It's so hollow that it holds everything. Yeah, that's the second contradiction. The third contradiction is that it's very hard, but it can make the hard-hearted soft. The fourth contradiction is the play on the word parva. Parva means a section, cross-section. Parva also means a festival. So it's a cross-section of a tree. The flute is made out of a cross-section of a tree, parva. Yet, every day when it's played, it creates parva. So it comes from parva, which means the portion of the tree, yet it is the source for all parva.
Festivals.
Isn't that a contradiction? Like, the source for the flute is a parva. That's the cross-section of a tree. Yet the flute is the source for all parva, festivals. Like that. And the fifth one is the play on the word vamsha, family tradition. So the flute is called vamshi, which means that which is high class. Yeah, it's like has a good. Vamsha means family tradition. You come from the Bharadvaja Vamsha, or family, like dynasty. Yeah, so it's called vamshi because of that. It comes from a very high class family tradition. Yet at the same time, because of its playing, you find gopis leaving their vamsha, and coming to Krishna. So it's coming from a high family, yet makes others lose their family. So these are 5 different points that Anand Vrindavan Champu gives why Krishna plays the flute, because he loves the bundle of contradictions. The third reason why Krishna plays the flute is because using the flute he can please and serve and reciprocate with devotees in Vrindavan. He uses it for playing, for calling, for pacifying, for during the day, on the morning time, he plays the flute in full excitement. I'm going to go to Govardhan with all my friends all day. So the flute starts screaming in excitement. And as he goes with his friends all day, the gopas and the cows and calves. In the afternoon time, he plays his flute to reciprocate with the residents in the forest, with the animals, with the birds. He plays the flute saying, yes, I did notice you today. Then plays the flute with the river body, plays the flute for the mountain, plays the flute for the trees, plays the flute for the peacocks who are dancing. Saying that, look, I have come all the way here only for all of you. And I really love all of you. You're dancing and singing and humming, the bees, and bowing down as trees. And Brinda Devi has created this beautiful environment in Brindavan just to welcome me. I reciprocate equally to all of you by playing the ragas, the intoxicating, mesmerizing music to satisfy your hearts. So that's the afternoon play. And by playing which, it's described that rocks melt, rivers flow backwards, animate go inanimate, inanimate go animate. The cows forget to drink, the deers forget to, chew grass. They're just like painted pictures. The deers are just looking like this, stunned, almost like a picture, Shukdev Goswami describes. They don't even seem like moving objects. Everything is, it's described, when Krishna plays the flute, it's easier for the cows to eat their grass. Why? Because when Krishna plays the flute, the whole of Vrindavan goes stunned. So the hair on the body of Vrindavan, which is the grass, stands up. So it's easy for the cow to eat. Yet, by playing the flute, the ability to eat and chew the grass is lost. So the cows have the best opportunity for the grass, yet they have the worst ability to chew. So this is a contradiction. And in the evening time, Krishna plays the flute happily, because when Krishna is returning back from the forest into the village, it's happy time. It's happy for whom? It's happy for the villagers, because our Krishna is coming back. And how do they know Krishna is coming back? They can hear Krishna's flute sound. He plays the returning evening melodies. They can hear Krishna's flute sound, and in the air they can see the dust raised by the hoofs, the hitting hoofs of the cows and the calves up in the air of Braja. So everything is dusty. Everything is dusty. The cows are, the air is dusty with the hoof print, the dust. The trees are all there covered with go-dhuli. Dhuli means the dust from the hoofs, and go means cows. So Krishna's flute sound and the air covered with go-dhuli. These are two signs for the Braja Gopis in Vrindavan and Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba to know, well, our Krishna is returning. But it's sad for the forests, all the residents of the forest. They have to do tapasya for 12 hours all night. They can't sleep. They're crying, when will this night end so that my Krishna can come back and I can flap my wings for him? It's described that the birds love Krishna so much that one bird was sitting on the branch of a tree and remembering Krishna after Krishna left. And tears started dropping from the side of the eyes of that bird, chanting the name of Krishna, sitting straight on that branch. And from the side of his eyes, tears are just streaming down. And in no time, the bird goes upside down. So this is the branch. The bird is holding like this, but out of fainting, unconscious ecstasy, the bird goes this way. And tears are just dripping downward. And chanting Krishna, 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 Krishna. In no time, the bird loses its grip on the branch and falls. Fortunately, it lands on the pool of river, which is caused by its own tears. Or the pool of a pond or a lake. Because of the tears that the bird has cried, because of separation of Krishna. So the birds also feel so much for Krishna. That they cry so much that they can create a pond or a pool of water. So even if they fall, they float over and it doesn't hit the ground. Rupa Goswami describes when Krishna would leave, the trees would almost burn in the fire of separation, like as if there's a forest fire. So they love Krishna so much. So the forests entities are crying for the day, and the villagers are crying for the evening, because both want Krishna. As we were discussing the other day, this is one gift that Govardhan gave both of them. Because of the Govardhan Leela, for 7 days and 7 nights, both parties could come together and spend 24 hours a day, 7 days of the week under one roof. Therefore, Giriraj is Hantaya Madrirabala Haridasa Varya, the best among servants. So next time we go to Vrindavan and we see Giriraj, you can remember that, oh Giriraj, it's because of you that all the residents of Vrindavan got Krishna. So when Krishna is coming back, he's playing the flute, yeah, and he's signaling. And at night time, Krishna plays the flute at the Rasasthali on the banks of the Yamuna. So this is the third reason why Krishna plays the flute. It's also described by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in the Srimad, in his commentary to the Srimad Bhagavatam, that Krishna would play the flute in Nandagram, Ter Kadamb. He would climb on top of the tree, Ter Kadamb, on the branch, and sometimes just play his flute for himself. He himself would get attracted to the flute sound. That's how mesmerizing it is. That it is so all attractive that it attracts the all attractive. It's just amazing. So, Srila Prabhupada, in his commentary, he says that Krishna's flute, that Krishna came down as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that flute of Krishna came down as the Mridanga, and that flute sound came down as the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this power of the flute sound that we are talking about is there in Harinam that Srila Prabhupada has given. So Krishna, flute and flute sound. Krishna comes down as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, flute comes down as the Mridanga, and the flute sound effect comes down as the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Now, what are the effects that the flute creates? This is one of my favorite sections. This comes from Rupa Goswami's work of Vidagdha Madhav, where he says that the first effect, let me just read it close. So the first effect, and by the way, these are 6 effects, all to the first note of Krishna's flute. Yeah, so Krishna has 8 notes. He has 8 different notes in his flute. And we're not even talking about combination of notes. It's just single notes. Sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa ni dha pa ma ga re sa. So Krishna has different notes like that. So the effect of the first note, just the first note. Lord Shiva, who's dancing with his dindima drum at Kailash. Lord Shiva, who's dancing with his dindima drum in Kailash, feels so dizzy that he starts dancing off beat with the first note. He is Nataraj. He's the king of dancers. And he forgets to dance. And everybody is watching him and he's embarrassed because he moves the drum in the wrong fashion and he takes the steps in the wrong way, and it's very embarrassing. Why? Because he's completely mesmerized by that first note. What else? The 4 Kumaras who are sitting in meditation lose their meditation. We're not talking about you and me meditating. We're talking about the 4 sons of Brahma, who are like the origin for the Kumara Sampradaya. Yeah, Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite Radhe Jai Jai Madhava Daite. The 4 Kumaras are singing the glories of Radharani. And their meditation is broken by Krishna's flute sound. Third effect, all to the first note. Brahma in Brahma Loka, who's contemplating of how to create, hears Krishna's flute sound and forgets who he is and what he's supposed to do. He forgets his identity. He forgets what am I supposed to do? What am I doing here? Who am I? So the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita is what Brahma starts from. Who am I? Aham Brahmasmi. In the true sense, Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahma. The fourth effect, The best among Gandharvas by the name Tumburu, who is the best singer in Indra's kingdom, gets astonished and forgets to sing. So the best classical singer, Tumburu, forgets to sing. Rupa Goswami is describing. Fifth effect, oh, this is, my Ananta Shila will love this. The fifth point, with the first note of Krishna's flute, Ananta Dev, who holds heavy universes on his head with no problem, feels dizzy and feels as if the planets are almost going to fall off his head. We're talking about Balaram feeling dizzy. That's amazing. That's really amazing. You're talking about Anantadev feeling dizzy, hearing the first flute note. All of these planets and the universes, they're all going to slip. And the sixth effect. Yeah, this is amazing. Baladev Prabhu, Balaram, continuing our discussion on Balaram. Balaram is saying that when Krishna plays the flute, Indra falls off his Airavat elephant and bows down in the direction of the flute sound. And sometimes he cries in happiness, and sometimes he's just struck in wonder. Indra, these are not ordinary people. These are not people who have no idea of music. These are people who are established relishers of music. And all of this with the first note of Krishna's flute. Now then, what happens with the second note? With the second note, Yamuna, who's free-flowing with sweet nectarian water, forgets the direction in which she must flow and flows backwards. This is the second note of Krishna's flute. Jiva Goswami is commenting on this. Jiva Goswami quotes this point to explain Venu Madhuri in his commentary to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, when he's quoting Canto 10, Chapter 21, Text 15 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The third note of Krishna's flute, it makes the moon forget the direction of movement and just stuns the moon, and the moon doesn't move till the time the note is not stopped playing. Till the time Krishna plays the third note, the moon is still up there, completely struck in wonder, not knowing to move right, move left, do what. It's almost like saying the moon forgets his identity. Oh, this is interesting. With the fourth note, the cows go, this is what we were discussing in the Balram Katha. With the fourth note, the cows go motionless and their ears go upward. And Krishna's flute sound is like nectar filling up their ears, which are like vessels. Gavascha Krishna mukha nirgita Venu Geetam. This Venu Geet, the song of Krishna's flute, is so mesmerizing that it's like nectar, unlimited nectar, filling up the long ears of the cows, which go up, and they're just filling it up. And as they fill up, they're motionless. They forget to chew the grass. They forget to give milk. The calves forget to suck milk. And the milk that's there in the mouth has to go in. They forget to drink it. They forget to suck more. So it's in here, and they don't know what to do with it. So it's just flowing from the side. All of this with the fourth note. Now, it talks about how attached the cows are to Krishna. With the eyes, they see the form of Krishna. This is all with the fourth note. With the eyes, they see the form of Krishna. With the nose, they nuzzle up to Krishna and try to smell his body. Very sweet. With the tongue, they try to lick Krishna's lotus feet. And with the mind, they think of Krishna, and with the heart, they embrace him. What love! It's like saying their mouth is full and their heart is overfull. Just with the fourth note. With the fifth note, Krishna calls the Braja Gopis. It's called Pancham Swar, the fifth note. It's the very famous note. Why you call it the fifth note? Krishna played the fifth note. Yeah. So Krishna would play the fifth note, and that's the attractor, yeah, which gets all his gopis. With the sixth note, all 6 seasons come together. Vrindavan forests welcome Krishna with all 6 seasons at the same time. It's like saying when we enter, a house, you want to make sure that the lightings are perfect, the temperature is perfect, the water is perfect, the flooring is perfect, the acoustics are perfect. So Krishna, when he's entering the forest of Vrindavan, Brinda Devi wants to make sure that the temperature is perfect. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. It's, there's little rain to have those dewdrops and everything fresh. And in the autumn season, the fruits and the flowers are all fresh, ripe. And sometimes it's described that the trees would tempt Krishna. They would drop a branch and say, "That fruit's for you, just pick it up." And if they pick, the branch would be so happy, would shake itself, that Krishna touched my fruit. Out of all the fruits in the forest, Krishna accepted my fruit. And also with the sixth note, the stones melt. We have the place called Charan Pahadi in Vrindavan, where Krishna placed his lotus feet and the stone melted. It became as soft as butter. This is also one of the effects at Giriraj Govardhan. When it's very hot, Krishna would step on the rocks of Giriraj and it'll be like an air conditioner, very cold. And when it's very cold, Krishna would step on the rocks of Giriraj and it would be hot. It would give him a very beautiful warm bedding. And sometimes the rocks are really hard, so Krishna would touch and it'll become as soft as butter. And Krishna doesn't even have to touch. He can just play the sixth note and the stone would melt, and then he steps over. And if he plays it further, the whole hill melts up like a mountain of butter, and then Krishna eats it up. Because the hill's melted. Now, also it's described with the seventh note. It's almost like the continuation of the sixth note. In the sixth note specifically, the autumn season is specified, and in the seventh note, it's described Vasanta, which means spring, Grishma, which means summer, Varsha, which means rain, Sharada, which means autumn, Hemanta, which means early winter, and Shishira, which means dew winter. All 6 come together. There's beautiful breeze, flower aroma, and sometimes there's not just 6, it's a combination. Like Krishna can pick these 3, or these 2, or these 4, or just 1. All of this with the 7th note. Just the note, and Krishna does all of his tweaking up and down of the seasons. Oh, I want a bit of bass and a little bit of treble and a bit of, like you adjust the mic system, the intensity and the volume. That's what Krishna does with the 7th note. And with the 8th note, which this 8th note is exclusively meant for Srimati Radharani. So the remaining 7 notes are for different purposes, but the 8th note is extensively and exclusively meant only for Srimati Radharani. And when Krishna plays the 8th note, that's when the famous, the lipstick goes on the eyes, and the eyeliner goes, and the kajal goes, the mascara goes onto the lips and things like that. That's the topsy-turvy note, the 8th note. So our acharyas are giving all this only to give us, and then Prabhupada parallels this to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to tell us how much the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is powerful. Now, Srila Prabhupada is a man from the spiritual world. Like Prabhupada would say about Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, my guru is a Vaikuntha man. So similarly, our Srila Prabhupada is a Goloka man. He's coming from this abode. He's giving us nectar of devotion that Rupa Goswami gave in the English language, so that we read all of these texts and develop some taste. It's not sufficient to say that this world is a place of misery and pus and urine and stool and blah, 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 blah. It's important because it creates detachment from this world, distaste in this world. But we also have to have attachment to something higher. Just by saying, don't appear in this world again, this world is a filthy place, this world is dukkhale mashashvatam. Just by saying that, you cannot attain the higher realm. Detachment from this material realm, but attachment to the higher realm. So sometimes you have katha both ways. Some classes are tuned towards creating detachment in this world. You're not this body. This body is a bag of A, B, C, D, E, etc. And you're going to die very soon, and you're not going to take another, human form. So that's to create detachment. But this katha, and the notes from Srila Prabhupada's Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, is less of this, but more of, is that how fascinating the spiritual transcendental realm is? Then I definitely want to be a part of it. I definitely want to experience this. So it's interesting how Prabhupada comes to the West after doing 10 years of bhajan in Radha Damodar temple, which is like the bhajan kutir and the samadhi of Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami was giving all this. Prabhupada is doing 10 years of intense sadhana at his lotus feet and getting that nectar in English for us, so that we get detached from this world, yet have that higher taste, that juice for the jewels of transcendental life. So it's very important. So finally, 2 points before we wrap up. So we spoke about, just to quickly recap, we spoke about 3 reasons why Krishna plays the flute. 1, because he's completely independent. 2, because the flute is a bundle of contradictions, where we spoke about 5 things, where the flute is full of holes, the flute is hollow yet complete, the flute is very hard yet softens, and the play on the word parva, cross section and festival, and the 5th one, the play on the word vamsha, family tradition. And the 3rd reason we said why Krishna plays the flute is to please and serve his devotees in Vrindavan, his cows, during the day, morning, afternoon in the forest, evening to give them a signal that he's returning, and at night for the Braja Gopis. And Rupa Goswami also says he uses the flute to smack his friend called Vishal from time to time. Krishna has a best friend called Vishal, and Rupa Goswami is commenting, Krishna uses his flute to smack Vishal time and again. Sometimes, under his waist, on his backside, just to slam him as a friend, or sometimes just tap him from the side, sometimes poke him into his belly, So to play with Vishal, that's also why the flute is used. I don't know, it's really fascinating. I mean, when you see all of this, and then you see a deity where Krishna is playing the flute, wow, it's not simply an accompaniment. You do a lot of stuff with that. Yeah. And then while saying this, we went to the different effects of the flute. The first note, and up to the 8th note. Now coming back to why Krishna plays the flute, the 4th and the 5th reason. The 4th reason why Krishna plays the flute is to initiate Brahma. Krishna initiates Brahma and gives him the instruction how to create through his flute. Janmadyasya yatonvayat itaratash chartheshu abhijñaswarat tene Brahma Ridi Adi Kavaye Muhyanti Yatsuraya. In the heart of Brahma, who is appearing in the lotus and who is completely bewildered what to do, Krishna plays the flute from Golok Vrindavan, and that flute sound, which of course can do so many things we described, just through the sound enters the ear holes of Brahma into the courtyard of his heart and instructs him to create and how to create. And finally, the 5th reason why Krishna plays the flute, it's described. Sometimes Krishna performs also as a concert. So they would have either in the village back in Vraja or into the forests of Vrindavan. They would have stage, like an evening bonfire, and Nanda Baba and everyone surrounded, and Krishna's in the center playing the flute. So that's also a reason why Krishna plays the flute. He uses it for his concerts. One Vaishnava was saying the 6th reason why Krishna plays the flute. I mean, if it's not there in this text, in this reading, but I really liked it, so I'm just adding it at the end. This Vaishnava said that Krishna plays the flute because the flute has 6 holes on a practical Vaishnava application level. The flute is free from the 6 anarthas of lust, anger, greed, etc., etc. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mad, Matsari. So it has 6 holes, meaning it's free from those vices. And therefore, Krishna fills it up with his lips. It's very important. So if our heart, in our heart, we are full of ourselves, then there's no place for Krishna to fill in his sweetness. Only when we empty ourselves, as Srila Radhanath Maharaj says, only in an empty bowl can something be filled. If a bowl is completely full, you can't pour in anything. So that's one reason we talk about humility time and again. If the heart is full in itself, then there's no sound, there's no place for Krishna to play his flute sound. But if you empty the heart and give it to Krishna, then Krishna can pour his sweetness, his flute sound through it, which the flute is doing, free from the 6 holes. The second reason he said, with respect to the dimensions of the flute, is that what is in is what is out. Air. Which means the flute is not having any duplicity. Transparent. We oftentimes have like a public face, and then we have like a private face. A public face is a face which everybody sees. Then we have a private face which only our family sees. And then we have a secret face which only Paramatma and we know. Even our wife may not know. Yeah, or our brother or sister or mother or father may not know. So we have this 3-layer shield that we operate in. But the flute has air outside and air within. So, completely genuine. And, as we were discussing about a few devotees today, that they have not a tinge of show or fake behavior. So that's something that Krishna likes. No duplicity. And the third thing about the flute that Krishna likes is that it's straightforward. It's not bent or crooked. So till the time our heart is not free from the 6 vices, till the time it's not what is in and is what is out, non-duplicitous, until the time it's not straightforward, you can think the heart will be used as an instrument for Krishna to fill his sweetness. So I think that was a very beautiful thing that he said, and I think I want to end this conversation on this note as the 6 different reasons why Krishna plays the flute. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Go.